So you can start, Dr. Gaurang.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, very good afternoon to all of you, and I want to specially thank our technical team, that is Dr. Pratik, Dr. Alpesh, Dr. Keu, Dr. Devendra, Dr. Yash, Dr. Pratik, Dr. Utsav, everyone. People are working here day and night to really make this session available for everyone. Yesterday we tried a lot because we thought that we could have participants, but we had so many registrations. We had 500 seats, and we had about more than 3,500 registrations, and still it went on and on and on. So we tried to in Bombay language we have a kind of terminology for this, for what we kind of did. It's called as a jugaad. That's what we tried to do. So we tried to put the webinar link directly to the Facebook, so most people can watch us on the webinar, and some of you can also watch it on Facebook Live. So that's the idea. Every day one remedy, and we discuss a case about it and then understand it in detail as much as I can. And today I have with me Dr. Ashok, one of the fantastic homeopaths from Tamil Nadu. I met him many years back, about maybe 7 years back, first time, and from that time I've always been very impressed by his analysis and his cases, and he has been a big source of inspiration for me. So I'm trying to bring up teachers and homeopaths and gems all across India who we may or may not know, and just give them a platform of expression. So we'll talk about Materia Medica series day 2 today. So let's start and let's go to the case. So what I'm going to do here, because I'm also seeing on Facebook Live, I'm also checking out people on Facebook Live. So I'm going to start with a case, and after the case, I'm going to read up this case of mine, and at the end of the case, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes for you to analyze. And towards the end of the analysis, I would wait for all of your remedy suggestions, and then we will study that remedy. Can we do that? Hello? Okay, so let's start with that. So this is a case of retinitis pigmentosa in a 50-year-old man based from Pune. The main symptoms that he had for last few years was vision difficulty, central scotoma. The visual acuity was reducing. There's a lot of problems in the retinal cells, in the corn cells. A lot of swelling in and around the eyelids as well. He couldn't see properly at night, so had almost developed a symptom of night blindness. Gradual visual deterioration. So he had developed a full-fledged degeneration of the eye cells, and vision was a big difficulty, and there wasn't much treatment available for this in modern medicine. So I tried to study this case in detail. So I asked him, what is the effect of this problem on you? And he said that it's okay. What to do? Whatever is there is okay. Whatever happens is okay. I can't do anything about it. About himself, he describes his basic nature. He says that I am a simple guy, but I like to do things way. मेरे में बहुत ego है. I think a lot about myself. I'm a very selfish guy. I don't like taking medicines. I like to earn a lot of money. I collect a lot of money. For me, money is everything. And I want to earn so much of money so that I can enjoy watching movies, enjoy listening to music, enjoy going to different women, going to different prostitutes, having sex, enjoying my life. I don't like working too hard. I like relaxing and doing aram, he says. I asked him, what dreams do you get? He says he gets dream as if he's falling down. Sometimes he says he gets dream as if he's falling down from a very big height, going down, 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 as if going in a hole. Then he says, I get very, very scary dreams, sometimes of ghosts, of dogs, of animals, of dead people. Kuch ho gaya hai. I get many, many scary dreams. I asked him to describe his childhood a little bit. So he describes his childhood that he says that मैं बहुत धीमे था. I was a very slow child. I would do everything very slowly. I would want to relax a lot. I wouldn't like to listen to a lot of people. I had a lot of ego. I want to do things my way. But I was not very intelligent in my school. I would always just pass. I wouldn't get good marks. I was known as a very, very slow person. I had a habit of biting everyone a lot, especially my father. I would bite him a lot. But I would also like to be with my father a lot. I loved my father. My father was everything for me. I was extremely dependent on my father. I was lazy but extremely dependent. At times, I was so slow in my studies. If teachers would be teaching me something, I would be so absent-minded. I would be in my own world. अपनी धुन की में रहता था, अपनी दुनिया में. I would just relax. Till I don't find something interesting, I would be just relaxing, not doing anything, lying down, eating on the bed. I would like to eat pizzas. I would sit on the bed with the blanket. I would say, "Jao bhajia leke aao. Go get pizza. Go get this." I wouldn't get up from the bed. I would love just lying down on the bed. Till I would find something interesting on TV. Or till I would watch some porn. Sex. That's what it would be amazing for me. What fears? What fears do you get? Many fears. Especially लोगों के सामने शर्म आना. I get very embarrassed in front of people. Constantly embarrassed. For me, everything was just about earning money. Earning a lot of money. I wanted to be someone great. I wanted to be known as the greatest person alive. I wanted to be a huge person. People should look up to me. People should think I am some great. I would plan a lot. I would keep planning. ये करना है, वो करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. But I was confident. But the only problem was I would be so lazy. People would say that you are a lazy bum. My pet name was Lazy Bum in my school. Let's move a little ahead. He likes open air a lot. Likes junk food. And then he likes to live like a king, he says. तो मुझे राजा जैसा जीना पसंद है. राजा. I can't live a life of a beggar. I want to live like a king. I want to eat like a king. I want chicken every day. I want alcohol every day. I want sex every day. I want porn every day. I don't want to earn money, but I want to be rich. I don't want to work hard. And I want to sleep. I require 14 hours of sleep every day. Can you imagine? 14 hours of sleep. So unbelievable. Let's go ahead. I asked him Why do you require 14 hours of sleep? He says, I require 14 hours of sleep. I feel very, very bored. I don't feel like doing anything at all. When I get up in the morning, I'm still sleeping. I want a blanket and I want to just relax. Till I don't watch something on Netflix. Till I don't watch movies. Till I don't find something interesting. I feel very, very bored. I need something interesting. वरना मैं बोर हो जाता हूँ. I can't take boredom. पक जाता हूँ, पक. I want to be this very, very great person. I want to be the richest person. But this is all in my imagination. I am generally very lazy. All on my bed. कुछ करता नहीं हूँ. I want people should know me. I want that people should think I am some very, very special person. This is the case in short. So I'm going to just tell the case again in for people who have just joined. I'm talking about a case of a 50-year-old man based in Pune who was diagnosed of retinitis pigmentosa, who has a difficulty in vision, developed central scotoma, and can't see properly at night, has vision difficulty. Gradual vision is really getting deteriorated. And he's a very chilled out person, very relaxed person. He talks about himself. He says, I don't like taking medicines. He likes to just relax. Very, very slow, dull, indolent, wants to earn a lot of money, enjoy movie, music, sex. That's his only life. Just likes relaxing a lot. He gets dreams as if he's falling down. He gets many, many scary dreams as if something has happened. He describes his childhood as something or somewhere where he was very, very slow. He would bite a lot. He had a habit of biting, especially his father. Very, very dependent on his father. But he describes himself as someone who's very, very slow. Slow in things and very, very absent-minded. अपनी दुनिया में रहता है. Many fears, especially gets embarrassed in front of people, but wants to earn a lot of money. पैसा मांगता है. Wants to earn a lot of money and wanting to do something great. Will actually not end up doing anything great, but his mind is very, very active. ये करना है, वो करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. Needs a lot of sleep, he says. Requires 14 hours of sleep every day. Likes open air. Especially likes junk food. He says, I want to be Badshah. When he gets up in the morning, he's very, very bored. Don't feel like doing anything. He says, still I don't find something interesting to do. I just feel like lying down on the bed. So this is the case in short. How did you analyze this case? Think. Let's wait from some of you. How to analyze this case? So I'm going to read up some suggestions. Okay. Let's see. Hardik Raj Purohit says androctonus. Can this be androctonus? Do you see animal energy here? Dr. Vihari says coffea. Interesting. Dr. Inkita says Piper family. Okay, Mustafa says China Sulph. Sachin says sulfur. Ranjan, how are you doing, Mr. Ranjan? He says Piper methysticum. So a lot of Piper here. Shalini says lac. Inder says Viratrum. Okay, so let's try to analyze this case. How do we analyze this case? Let's try to see. So what do you think? How do I analyze this case? I'll just tell you. I mean, here the remedy is not very important, but just how to approach the case, I want to tell you. So in this case, what do you see? You see in this case a lot of dullness, indolence, isn't it? So let's take the first rubric in this case, which is very interesting. So I want to tell you about repertory that rubric shouldn't just be taken anyhow, and remedy shouldn't be taken just by anyhow. You have to understand what I'd like to now call as what are the deeper patterns. And what is a deeper pattern in this case? You can see. And you can see in this case, you can see a pattern of a lot of dullness on one side, isn't it? A lot of laziness on one side, a lot of slowness on one side. And on another side, you'll see a lot of enjoyment. A lot of money, need for money. Says he wants to be like the king, Raja. So interesting. So now the question is, and we talk about this, how to convert this into rubrics. I want to teach you this. This is what I want to teach you. Not just rubrics, but how to understand remedies. That's why I'm come here to talk about Materia Medica series. So how to take this where the person is very, very lazy, dull, but wants to enjoy. So in repertory, we have this rubric. Let's have a look. The rubric is indolence, dullness, laziness, indolence on one side, and on another side, the rubric is especially he feels this indolence when he is not amused. And when you see that on your repertory sheet, and you would see a very, very interesting remedy here. The remedy here given carbonium sulph, given by Allen. So interesting to find this rubric here, carbonium sulph. I hope you can appreciate this. The next very, very peculiar thing in this case is that he has a habit of biting, isn't it? And especially whom does he feel like biting? He likes to bite his father, isn't it? Hello? So the person he likes to bite is his father. So biting desire is father. Again, you can see so interesting. What remedy comes up? Again, carbonium sulph. Next, very interesting rubric in his case, he has always been very, very absent-minded. Again, if you see the rubric absent-minded, one of the biggest remedy is, again, carbonium sulph. So interesting. What else do you see in this case? You see the way he talks. He talks as if he's some big person. So the next rubric, let's have a look. Delusion talked of as an emperor. So this is where I think Dr. Kasturi is very keen about Viratram. And you can see that on the repertory sheet. Delusion emperor he talked of. Again, you can see very, very interesting remedy. Carbonium sulph. So interesting, isn't it? Then he also talks about dreams where he's falling from a very, very high place. It's amazing. We are locked into at least more than 1,000 people right now live. A few of them on Facebook, a few of them on the webinar. We are actually talking to more than 1,200 people. That's really, really heartening to see so many people wanting to study so much. So this patient also gets dreams that he's falling from a very high place, isn't it? And he's falling and going into a hole. And you can see the rubric, delusion falling in a hole. So interesting to find there the remedy. Again, carbonium sulph. So there are many, many more things in this case. I don't know if we have enough time for that. So when you now look at this repository, please have a look. And you can see beautifully the drug picture of the remedy, carbonium sulph. And this is the remedy we are going to talk about today. This is Materia Medica series, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and evolve and let's try and study Materia Medica together in these strange times. This is a remedy we don't use so often, isn't it? We don't think about these remedies so often. But in many, many cases where we are stuck and we are not thinking out of the box, this remedy can really help a lot. And I'm going to talk about this remedy in all different angles. I told you I've spent a lot of time with the best homeopaths that have born on this earth. Right from my mentor, Dr. Sankaran, to Dr. Sarkar, to Dr. Milind Rao, to Dr. Vijay Vaishnav, to doctors from ICR school, to doctor from Sehgal school. Every single school that you can imagine, I spent time studying with them. And I've studied the source books and every literature available, and then developed the indications of the remedy, by which we can actually try to understand the same case from different angles. And this is the approach where you learn from all the approaches and develop a whole bunch of approach together where your analysis becomes crystal clear. And this is what I want to talk to you about. And I'm seeing so many faces here, people here who I know. So this is the remedy, carbonium sulph, and this is what I gave carbonium sulph in the potency 200, 1 dose every month. And gradually, I could see with this remedy in coming 6 months and coming year, his progression of disease improved, his slowness of his vision, which was deteriorating, it's reduced, and gradually it got better, and his state of mind and everything gradually improved. So interesting. So welcome to Materia Medica series day 2, and welcome to the remedy that we are going to talk about, the remedy carbonium sulph. Are you all with me? Yes, I will also talk about differentiations a little later, how carbonium sulph will come close to Piper methysticum, how it can be compared to Veratrum album. I will talk about all of this. Sure, I will at some point. And I've used this remedy so often in many different cases. In fact, even in viral cases, I've used this cases. In flu cases, I've used this remedy. In neurological cases, I've used this remedy. It is just remarkable to know different remedies in different angles. Yeah. So let's talk about carbonium sulph, the remedy. Most of us know the idea of sulfur, but I thought of talking a little bit about carbon as well. The main issue of carbon, the main central issue of carbon is basic self-worth, is the basic sense of ego, the basic sense of identity. At a kind of a level, it kind of crystallizes the self-worth. मैं क्या हूँ, मैं कौन हूँ, who am I? The development of I. So interesting that in the periodic table, you can see where the carbon lies. In the second row of the periodic table. How you see the carbon is almost between beryllium, boron and nitrogen. And how they can be so much between each other. I can go on for hours talking about carbon and what is the state of carbon, but I'm going to focus my talk on carbonium sulph and indications of carbonium sulph. And I don't want to talk too much of theory, but actually talk about clinical indications so that my friends here who are watching the talk can actually use this remedy. So carbonium sulph has been, a thorough proving has been done on this, and there's almost, since last 170 years, this remedy is available. So if you read any old literature, carbonium sulph is given. So I want to talk about carbonium sulph in a very interesting way. The carbonium sulph has the dullness, indolence of carbon, or you can say a kind of lack of reaction of carbon, and the need for pride, ego, appreciation of sulph. So you will see both sides in carbonium sulph. I think you should remember this formula. Many cases where we are giving calcarea carb or calcarea sulph actually may be carbon sulph. On one side, the carbonium sulph are very ambitious. You can see the sulph element there. So there's a lot of theme of wanting to do something great. And for them, that ambition is for name, for fame, for appreciation. Main, it's all about me. They can also be very easy. For them, everything is full of fun. They would be laughing. They would be taking everything very lightly. They will be very easy. They are like the ghar ka raja. Very talkative as well. In fact, there is a rubric, loquacity alternating with laughing. So either they are laughing or they are talking. So interesting. Sometimes causeless, laughing causeless. For them, life is so easy, no problem. जो भी है हो जाएगा, मेरा बाप है. They talk so much that they just forget what they are supposed to do. Forgetful in loquacity, carbonium sulph given by Clark. One of my friend Mayuri Meghnani asked how to differentiate calcarea sulph and carbonium sulph. Calcarea sulph is much more evolved. Calcarea element insecurity comes in calcarea sulph. Carbonium sulph is all about me. I want to laze. I want to lie down. I want to chill. The theme of appreciation is not so strong in carbonium sulph. There is more enjoyment in carbonium sulph. So interesting. Very often, they become so absent-minded, carbonium sulph. So much in high living, so much of just imaginations, that they start making mistakes. That's why carbonium sulph is very important neurologically in Alzheimer's cases as well. Mistakes making in words, misplacing words, forgetful for what has happened. Forgetful, progressive, so interesting. You can have a look. Progressive forgetfulness, single remedy, carbonium sulph. There's also an issue with expressing oneself, you know. When we talk about carbonium sulph, they are not as evolved as calcarea sulph. Calcarea sulph is in the fourth row of the periodic table, where the ego is developed. Now the issue is of can I take care of my family? Am I getting appreciation from my family? That is calcarea sulph. In carbonium sulph, the ego is just developing. So the ego is connected to enjoyment here. They just want to, they are this very, very clingy, dependent people who feel they are emperors. They are like inert kings. Forgetful for words. Again, like Baraita Kav. One of the favorite habits is to just sit in one place for a very, very long time. Sit desire to, still silent. So interesting. For them, the enjoyment is music, dance, singing, alcohol, women, video games. You know, if I want to tell you in today's time, people who are crazy about video games and all this PUBG and all that, who want to just sit at home, eat a lot of food, junk, and keep playing PUBG. And if they don't get PUBG, they are dull, indolent, and for them life is sucking. That's carbonium sulph. Carbonium sulph will be so important remedy in today's times, especially in children's cases. So interesting, no? For them, singing is a very important theme, like crocus. There's a part of them, they can also be very vivacious. I want to teach you Materia Medica like drug pictures. I want to combine the ideas of Kent, of balance, of everything together. Interestingly, whistling also has carbonium sulph in it. In many, many rubrics, carbonium sulph and crocus comes together. Like you can see whistling here, carbonium sulph and crocus. You can see vivacious, crocus and carbonium sulph again. You can see singing joyfully, again you can see. So very, very interesting. You can see the kind of party-loving guy that they are also. I hope you're getting an idea. Please say a yes so I know that you're getting an idea. A lot of questions about why not Viratram. My friends, Viratram is totally different picture. Viratram is this very, see, the main rubric of Viratram is about social position. So Viratram is this cheating liar who can do anything for that social position. Carbonium sulfur are not so deceitful, are not so attractive. They don't have that kind of mind state or deception, of cheating, of desire for that social position. Carbonium sulfur is a person who's very dull, lazy, lying down, wanting not to do anything and want something interesting to do. They want amusement. Viratram doesn't want amusement. Viratram wants social position. Viratram wants women, not one, 5. So that carbon state is not so much seen in Viratram. Paranspe sir, namaste. Calcarea floor is very different remedy because calcarea floor, the main idea of calcarea floor is groundless fear of poverty or of money. While our friend here doesn't have fear of poverty. Carbonium sulfur is the main rubric is delusion talks as if an emperor. Delusion talks of money. So he already feels he is the king in his imagination. So let's move a little forward. We have limited time. A lot of slowness and late reactions. Starting on slightest fear. So you can see a lot of carbon element here, a lot of starting. I'm going to come now a little bit to understand the dreams of carbonium sulfur. Dreams of danger, a lot of danger. Carbons will always get dreams of danger. Dreams of dead people, especially his parents. Carbons and carbonium sulfur has a lot of theme with father. Very frightful dream, ghosts in the dream. And especially they get this kind of unpleasant dreams after midnight. That's typically for carbonium sulfur. Someone asked me, why not Merksol? The main idea of Merksol is rebellion. Merksol is a revolutionary, it's destructive, it's syphilitic miasm. It's a totally different ball game altogether. I think if you want to understand a carbonium sulfur a little bit more, this is a very interesting rubric. Dullness alternating with excitement. One can also think about Piper, but Piper has a lot of fear of suffering. Very interesting, have a look. Dementia alternating with excitement. Carbonium sulfur, so interesting. Talks as if he is the king, like Raja. Delusion talked as if an emperor. Carbonium sulfur. Dreams, body parts are swollen. Again, carbonium sulfur. You can swollen means ego. Surrounded by enemy. There you can compare it with Mercury. Because he feels that other people are also trying to boost their ego. Delusion talking about money. Money is a very important thing. They keep imagining they have lots of money. Can it be psychotic miasm? I don't know. Maybe. We have to evolve this remedy even more. talks of money. Delusion, vision of grandeur, magnificent grandeur. Like cannabis, you can see the imaginative. Carbonium sulph, so interesting. But also this ego can come down, delusion falling, he is in a hole. This big ego, this big thing that I am great, can often come down. You can see sometimes they can almost have a situation, and I will talk about it, almost a state of excitement alternating with dullness, bordering on dullness. They can get very excited, excitable, stupefaction as if from whiskey. So interestingly, why I talk about this rubric is also because carbonium sulph, and I'm going to now connect this to homeopathy and clinical homeopathy. See, the main thing why the results are very good and the way I am able to analyze things in a very different way, because I'm able to look at a case through all angles, through mental state, through sensation, through kingdom approach, through clinical approach, through keynotes, through pathologies, through rubrics, everything. And this is what I wanted to share. So you can see carbonium sulph, useful in patients broken down by abuse of alcohol. Now you can understand this rubric. Stupefaction as from whiskey. So interesting. This is the way you understand deeper level of remedies. I want to teach you this. So interesting. Let's go ahead. It would be a very important remedy in children's cases also. Lateness of a lot of milestones. So in today's times, these children who are very dull, indolent, whose mind is totally on PUBG and video games, just want excitement, just want visualization of Instagram and social media on one side and dullness and lying on bed on another side. And their mind is not developing so much. Think about carbonium sulph would be a so important remedy in today's time in behavioral issues in children. So interesting. Their mind is not working properly because the dullness, thoughts get disconnected. There is a shyness, timidity. The expression is difficult. This is where the carbon comes in. Calcareous sulph doesn't have an issue with expression. Their expression is already developed. In carbonium sulph, the basic life worth is not developed. The slowness is much more. Big sense of ego. They cannot take contradiction. The mind becomes confused. They cannot take too much of mental exertion. They cannot, just cannot. And they have a childlike behavior, impulsive. Quick gratification. Very attached to father. Interesting, biting his father, single remedy, carbonium sulph. Break desire to also. It has both sides. It has clinging as well as destruction. Sometimes can define difficulty in answering, answers monosyllable, with answers signs with hands. So interesting. One of the most absent-minded remedy in homeopathy, as much as medorrhina. And also for alcoholism, it can be a remedy we should think about. In fact, post-alcohol issues, ataxia, think about carbonium salt. Let's go a little ahead, and I'm going to talk a little bit about carbonium sulph a little bit more. I hope you're getting a good idea about this remedy. Please say a yes and encourage us. Hello? Are you getting a good idea in the afternoon at 4:47 p.m., ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. This remedy has a deep disorganizing action. Very useful in patients broken down from abuse of alcohol. So post-alcoholic liver pathologies and neurological pathologies, think about carbonium sulph. It's a very important remedy for neurological issues, motor neuron disease, very important. Paralysis with intense congestion, TABIS. And you can see very nicely chronic plumbism, peripheral neuritis, diminished sensibility of arms, hands and feet. So a lot of neurological problems, sensory difficulty in limbs. Think about carbonium sulph. Very, very lesser used remedy. But for me, because as you know, I have told you this before that both my parents are ophthalmic physicians and I see a lot of ophthalmic cases. Cases of retinitis pigmentosa, cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration of the eye. And I see these cases all across the world. They come to see me, autoimmune cases like this. It's a very important remedy for ophthalmic conditions. I want you to be innovative. So it's a very, very important remedy in today's times for optic nerve, optic neuritis going towards atrophy. It's very, very important remedy. Myopia, asthenopia, atrophy or optic nerve, central scotoma for light. Very interesting. Very important remedy for color blindness. Vision is affected. So a lot of vision difficulties in carbonium sulph. If you are a homeopath who's going to be treating many ophthalmic and neurological cases, you should know remedy carbonium sulph. Central scotoma. What is central scotoma, my dear friends? What does it mean? It means that the central area is dark. There's like a tunnel vision. External situation you can see, but central part is dark. The next thing I want to talk about is neurological symptoms. And it's a very, very important neurological remedy. Oh! So typically one of the first symptoms you'll see in this cases initially will be a lot of flying pains, electric shock like pains, and that's why it comes very close to phytolacca. Yes, it comes very close to diabetic neuropathy. Flying pains remains for a long time. Very, very difficult neuropathies can improve with this remedy. Lightning-like pains with cramps, anesthesia of arms, bruised pains, herpes, sciatica, difficulty in walking, gait. What about naphthalinum? No, it's for retinal detachment. Why not hyoscyamus? No, hyoscyamus is shameless. Totally shameless. He's a pervert. Hyoscyamus is different picture altogether. There's a lot of fright in hyoscyamus. Better in open air, worse breakfast, hot patient. Skin, chronic skin diseases with much itching should be thought about in very, very thick lichen planus. Furunculosis, a lot of boils, bad skin, and anesthesia of ulcers. So, a lot of ulcers. Very important for noises in the head. So interesting. And also for Meniere's disease, it's a near clinical specific. So with this mental state, when you see in Meniere's disease, it can be a very, very important remedy. So very important remedy for wandering swellings due to flatus, which is a remedy which has flatus on the left side only. Patients say that my gas is only on the left side of the abdomen. Any idea? The remedy is Momordica. What's the remedy? Momordica. Okay. Momordica. Accumulation of flatus in splenic flexion. I want you to learn homeopathy like this. I want you to make homeopathy your life. Eat, drink, sleep. So interesting, no? Let's come back to carbonium sulph. Very, very important in cases of neuropathies where there is an impotency. Desire is lost. Catherine Schafferstein asks me, how to differentiate it with medorinum? They come very close in practice, medorinum and carbonium sulph. But the main idea of medorinum is not of being lazy but postponing. And there's a very strong psychotic miasm. There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of anxiety. Time is set. Carbonium sulph doesn't care about time. He just wants amusement. And the ego is much, much more developed in carbonium sulph. So even though they may sound similar, but they're totally different tunes, different melodies altogether. This is how Materia Medica has to be learned out of box. So interesting. Which another remedy has central scotoma? Which other remedy in homeopathic Materia Medica has central scotoma? Yes, the remedy is thyroidinum. Yes, central scotoma of the eye. Central scotoma. So interesting, no? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about carbonium sulph. Okay. Very, very important remedy in cases where there is alcoholic liver cirrhosis with edema of the feet. Think about this remedy. Mustafa asks me, why not China Sulph? See, obviously the Sulph element is the same, so that's why it might come across as China Sulph. But China is different. The pattern of China is that of a lot of kind of a mental stimulation, ideas, activity of the mind, and a lot of feeling of being obstructed, hindered, persecuted. Not in carbonium sulph. In carbonium sulph, he's a very, very dull, lazy guy who thinks he's a king. That's what he is. And also the sphere of action is very, very different. Also very important remedies for many, many congenital disorders like atrophy of ovaries. Also very important remedy clinically. I'm telling you, clinical homeopathy. Homeopathy is not only about understanding mind rubrics, delusions, dreams, sensations, but also understanding clinical. And when you use both together, results are marvelous. I hope you're getting an idea. Cardus Marianus, alcoholic liver disorder, always with beer. And left lobe is enlarged. Shivam ji. Gout after relief of inflammatory disorder. So a lot of rheumatism in this case also, in this remedy also. Typically, I've also used this remedy in cases of coma, in cases of not good reactions, collapse state, almost like carbo-veg. But the important thing is that they return. There is a lot of relapses. So carbo-veg and carbonium sulph also comes close. Very interesting. So interesting, no? I hope you are getting an idea about carbonium sulph. I hope so. So this is a little bit about carbonium sulph, which I wanted to talk to you. And you will have many questions. Please write to me how the talk went from you. This is my email ID, gaurang@gmail.com. And share with me what you learned today. And about a lot of technical difficulties, don't write to me because I can't do much. I'm going to just forward your emails to Dr. Pratik, Dr. Alpesh, Dr. Yash, and Dr. Sulph. So you can connect to them for technical. But this is my email ID. Write to me what you thought about this remedy, how you understood this remedy, how you can apply this remedy.